Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Gladiator, and this movie is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. And I'm going to skip talking about the plot as I normally do, and I thought this movie was really great. I had a great time with it, and what I really love about this movie is that it's 2.5 hours long, but it barely feels it. There were a couple moments where I kind of felt the runtime, but for the most part, I think the pacing is pretty brisk. It's really fast paced, and it doesn't waste any time, and each scene moves the story forward. It doesn't get bogged down by any subplots going on in this movie, or that could be going on in this movie, but it's very focused, and it gives a lot of attention to everything, and it develops its characters very well. There's not one character in this movie that I found to be unwatchable or irritating. I think every character serves a purpose in this movie, and there's only one antagonist in this entire film, and I think he's great. Joaquin Phoenix, he plays him excellently, and he adds so much to his character, like the way he talks and how he interacts, like his body language also. He adds so much to his character, and there are some really emotional moments in this movie that I think worked really well. Especially the ending is great, without spoiling it. But Joaquin Phoenix gives the best performance in the entire film. And Russell Crowe, I think he's good. I wouldn't say he's one of the strongest parts about the movie, but he's appropriate for the role at the very least. I really enjoyed the music in this movie. I thought it was appropriately used. And I think the action scenes in this movie are great for the most part. I'll get into the action scenes in just a moment of what I don't like. But for positives, I thought it was really well shot, and it was intense, and it builds up tension very well, and it's brutal. There's blood, and you feel as though there are consequences, and characters die. And it's really great and very entertaining. I also really love the story of our main character and how he goes from a respected general to a slave, and then he becomes a gladiator, as the title says, and he kind of gets that respect back as soon as he starts fighting again. And he's a completely different character once he's a slave, for reasons that I can't say because that would spoil the movie, but it was always interesting to see where his character was going to, and after a certain point, he's just like he's not the same character at all that we saw in the first however long of the movie. He's completely changed, and he's just fighting, and he only has one thing left on his mind, and he's just fighting for one thing. And I'm not going to say what that is, but it's gripping, and you want to see him succeed. The only thing in this movie that stood out as kind of bad for me was the first action scene in the movie. It's in the first 10 minutes of the movie. It's this big action scene going on, and the only issue that I have with it is the editing. It ruined my experience with that first action scene, and I thought this movie opened up pretty weak, to be perfectly honest. And it was mainly that first action scene. It kind of made me think to myself, I don't think this is going to be as good as the first time I watched this movie. This is the second time I've seen this movie, by the way. And it was just the editing, and you couldn't tell what was going on. Everything was dark. It was there was a lot of quick cutting, and there was slow-mo, and it ruined the entire scene for me. One thing that you could criticize this movie for is it not really being super subtle with anything that it's presenting, because all of the characters just say what things could be implied, but I feel as though it's appropriately fitting for this movie, and I can forgive it because back then people thought and talked differently than they do now, and I can overlook that. And I'm not trying to imply that there is absolutely no subtlety throughout this entire film. It's just less subtle than, say, an art house film that I would watch. But that's about all I have to say for Gladiator. I think it's a really great movie. There were a couple moments where it kind of lost me, but it grabbed me and pulled me back into it. And even though it started out weak, it more than made up for it. It has a great presentation, great music, and a story that's really interesting and gripping. And it's just a really great movie, and I would highly recommend that you check this movie out. And I'm going to give Gladiator a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Gladiator down below. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that's going to be for Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. I've never seen it before, so look forward to that. But until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.